For quite some time now, Marjorie Taylor Greene has had ambitions to be more than just a U.S. representative from Nowheresville, Georgia. Sorry, no offense, Georgia, but Greene is from a relatively rural, low-populated area, so it's not like she's representing a major, powerhouse in the House of Representatives. And it's been rumored for quite some time that Greene was seeking to run for Senate, because next year in the midterm elections, Democratic Senator Jon Ossoff from Georgia will be up for re-election, allowing for the possibility of a Republican to take back that seat. But unfortunately for Greene, her ambitions for any kind of higher office seem to be dead on arrival, because a new poll came out late last week showing that Greene basically has no chance whatsoever of not only not beating Jon Ossoff, but also coming in fourth place out of 4 people in a Republican primary. She is so unpopular outside of her district that she would lose to Ossoff by double digits. Not just like 10 or 12. I'm talking dozens of points. Because outside of her district, nobody in this country really seems to overwhelmingly like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let me read you the results of this. It's from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Brian Kemp, current governor of Georgia, who is widely considered to be the real frontrunner for that place in the Senate race. Kemp, whose approval rating sits at 60%, is the only Republican in the survey who polls close to Ossoff. Kemp's approval rating is bolstered by strong support from independents and even a third of Democrats. That puts him nearly 20 points ahead of President Donald Trump and reinforces recent Journal-Constitution polls showing the Republican is one of the most well-liked figures in Georgia politics. Kemp has been closed-mouthed about a possible bid. And then, of course, you have Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, also rumored to be considering that. He loses to Ossoff 48 to 39%. Insurance Commissioner John King loses 51% to 38%. And then way below all of that, you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who Ossoff leads by 54 to 37%. So he is the only challenger, or he's not the challenger, Greene is, but Greene is the only challenger who is so unpopular that it pushes Ossoff above 50% of the vote. That's how bad, that's how disliked Marjorie Taylor Greene is in the rest of her home state outside of her district. And it's even funnier. Ossoff, if up against Greene, gets 60% of independents and roughly 10% of Trump voters in the state of Georgia. So even the Trump voters who are like, man, I love Donald Trump. Holy hell, I'm not voting for this crazy lady. That is so bad. This is quite literally the worst career news that Marjorie Taylor Greene has ever gotten. But once again, it reinforces the point that a lot of these loudmouth, brazen, crazy people that we see in the House of Representatives are not actually popular. They have their jobs because they're in a safe, deep red district. Kind of like Matt Gaetz, right? Matt Gaetz, when he was my representative, it's a deep red district, very difficult to shift. And even with all of his problems, not just his scandals, but all of his horrible ideas, they kept re-electing him. That doesn't mean that he was powerful, because when he and Marjorie Taylor Greene a couple summers ago went on their cross-country tour, they attracted so few people that they lost money. Like, it was a net negative. They were speaking to a couple dozen people on a sidewalk at one point because nobody wanted to show up. So it doesn't matter if you're the loudest person in the House of Representatives. It doesn't matter if you're on TV more than anybody else. It doesn't matter if you say the most crazy and inflammatory things. That doesn't equate to popularity. And Marjorie Taylor Greene just learned that in this new poll. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.